it's 2020, so nothing is as per schedule or normal. And of course, the new UGC guidelines that have also now come in, of course, point exactly towards that same norm as well. Now, of course, schools and colleges have been shut for a good 5 to 6 months, so it's nothing new that even the guidelines that we're now seeing in terms that have been given by the UGC are not the ones that we're usually used to. So, of course, we want to today understand, one, how easy will it be to follow these guidelines, considering the fact that the students and the college teachers and parents, of course, have already lost a good 5 to 6 months, and how easy will it be to cope with these new guidelines, and will they actually create some complications for the students going ahead? Hello and welcome. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. You're watching People's Editor. Now, as I pointed out, that the University Grants Commission, or the UGC, has now revised the academic calendar for 2020. The academic session for 2020 to 21, which already had been infected by the surge of COVID-19 in India, has now gotten a new calendar. According to the latest UGC calendar, the academic session for freshers will now begin in the month of November, and this delay will, of course, spill over to the next academic session as well. The Commission has also urged the universities to complete the admission process by the end of October. Its guidelines further stated and so said that in the case of cancellation of admissions or migration of students, a full refund will be given of the fees that was deposited earlier. Now, schools and colleges across the nation have been closed since the first lockdown in March. So how will students, the universities and the authorities really cope up with these new guidelines? That's exactly what we'll be discussing. Students also will be joining us with their set of challenges and questions that they want to be streamlined before they step into this new academic year. But before that, I want to get in Professor Alok Pandey, who of course is the director at IMS Ghaziabad, and of course Mr. M.M. Ansari, who's a noted educationist, also former member of the UGC. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Before I get to the students, I thought I'll get the voices of some educationists and some experts who understand this and have been in the profession for a really, really long time. Professor Alok Pandey, I want to come to you first. This academic calendar is unlike any academic calendar that we've seen in the past. I want to understand from you, how easy will it be to implement this calendar, considering the fact that 5 to 6 months have already been lost?
Largely, we need to look into one of the aspects, Ridhima. First of all, thank you very much for organizing this program. Television and media are the places where students go to when they need to know about these things. But yes, for the public universities, a lot of the institutions, a lot of time has been lost. But it is not more important than the lives of the students. Nothing gets lost if you lose a few months and you are safe. Most of the other institutions, actually, as per AICTE calendar, they've been allowed to function from around 17th of August onwards. And the private institutions which are under, or the other institutions which are under AICTE, they've started functioning online. For the universities, of course, the new guideline says that they'll start now from 1st of November. But as far as I understand, it's not going to create much of a trouble because the focus is on the safety of the students. If you look at the problems, this disease, although not very deadly in terms of the mortality rate and high recovery rate in India, it does have a huge impact in terms of it's fairly contagious. Once you open the campuses, it's not just the students who will be exposed, it is also the teachers and the staff members who will also be exposed. So we need to be prepared. Yes, of course, some part of the curriculum which could have been covered till now has been lost, but I don't think much of a damage has been done. We need to really look into rationalization of curriculum. Already the UGC has said that the classes would continue on Saturdays as well. So keeping in view, and of course they said the vacations will be curtailed. So, overall, my view is that the safety of the students and the staff members and the faculty members is paramount. This being a contagious disease, probably students would not get hurt as much as the teachers who are in the senior age group, and majority of them probably may suffer from some or the other comorbidity, which may hurt them badly, and that will be a very sad state of affairs. So I think not much of a damage in terms of
Yeah, I know,
academic
and I
loss.
think that's Yeah, I think that's exactly what we want to discuss, which is that, of course, we're understanding the damage that has been done in terms of the months that the students have completely missed out because of COVID-19. But we also need to understand that are we completely ready to reopen, knowing fully that health will not be compromised. I'll get back to you and I'll get Mr. Ansari in also. But I want to quickly take you through what the UGC guidelines actually said for the academic year 2020 for our viewers to understand how the academic year 2020 will be completely different from how the academic sessions we are used to. As Professor Alok Pandey was also pointing out that this time around it will be a 6-day working week. There will be no summer break, no winter break. So let's put those graphics up quickly to understand what academic session 2020 will look like and what the UGC guidelines really are saying. Now, UGC, of course, has approved the academic calendar guidelines for first-year undergraduate and postgraduate students. Academic session 2020 to 21 may commence from November 1st for the first-year students. So, of course, there was all talk that maybe they'll start it from September, but cases started to rise. So now November 1st is the final date that we are looking at. No hard and fast rule on holding online and offline classes. So, of course, let's stay with this. The UGC, of course, has given the benefit and the flexibility to the colleges to decide how they want to work this around. No hard and fast rule about online and offline classes. Full refund, of course, to be made on cancellation of admissions and migration of students. This is something that the UGC guidelines have highlighted very, very categorically, that we understand the financial trouble that parents and families have gone through. So if you want to cancel the admission, a full refund will be made for that amount. And those are basically what the UGC guidelines really look like. Of course, now we have to wait and watch how they really pan out in terms of the colleges implementing them. Let me get back to our experts. Mr. Ansari also now joining us on the show. Sir, as I was asking Professor Alok Pandey that, how difficult will the transition be? Because, the teachers are also not used to this new system. There'll be a 6-day working week, no summer break, no winter break. Do you think it'll be easy to adapt to this so quickly?
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ansari, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I think the IMS Gas Commission has taken all aspects into account. One is the academic development of our students and the teachers' concerns, and also the threat of the COVID. All these aspects have been duly taken care of in the UGC guidelines. And what we see is that while in the last 6 months we have been struggling to contain the COVID threat and the guidelines have been prepared, but at the same time, when we see that there is uncertainty about the time when the COVID is going to end, it is considered important that along with the healthcare, education of our children is very important. While many attempts have been made to offer courses online, but because of the lack of online infrastructure platforms that are not easily available to all the students in all the country, in the whole country, and at the same time, we also say that online education is not that much effective. At the same time, we have been opening up the markets. We have now opened up, the industry, the factory, the transport. So we have now come to a pre-lockdown situation. So at this point in time, I think education being that much very critical for students, for teachers, it is important that while taking precaution of the COVID threat, it is important to impart the quality education as well. While you rightly said that the UGC has also stipulated that we have to work harder than what we have been doing before, and we have to forego our holidays, leaves. So the students, the teachers, and the parents all have to consider that we are going through a very difficult process, and it is not a very normal time, and therefore at every level one has to work very hard to see that our education system doesn't suffer much than what it has happened. So from this point of view, I think while we need to take precaution, but at the same time, we need to see that our children are not the loser, because our future depends on the quality
Correct.
of students that we produce, our industry, our society, the future of our students. Everything is dependent on the quality of education that we provide, and it is important, therefore, that with all the difficulties that we face today, education and training of the students have to continue. And at all levels, I think we are given the limitation of our capacity, resources, making all preparations to see that the health of the teachers, the students, the parents is not affected, but at the same time, we want to see that, the lives, the show must go on, and therefore, the students need to be told what precautions they have to take. At the same time,
of
they
course.
have to work harder.
Pretty much the same point that Professor Pandey was also pointing out, that of course the safety of not just the students but the teachers also needs to be kept in mind before we open up and be extremely sure that we can go ahead as per the new guidelines. But Professor Pandey, I want to bring you in. Now, of course, it's not easy, and you'll probably never get it right in the first go, because this is also new. So even if you look at, the new guidelines, they may look very comprehensive to the layperson. But do you think that this updated calendar might create complication for the colleges, because some dates will clash, and people might not be able to have a variety of choices?
Not really. This is a black swan event. And let me tell you, it's not just probably me as head of an institution, or Professor Ansari, who is a very senior academician, or you as a journalist who have to understand it. But all the students also have to understand it. Everybody, parents, everybody had to, as the US colleges and UK schools and colleges opened up, the median cases rose by thousands. The fact is that the moment you open up, you need to be very careful. One part is that now education has to be hybrid mode for a few years to come, because corona is something which is not going to go. This is a particular disease which will become endemic. Remember, any disease which is highly contagious but has less mortality rate often becomes endemic. Now, what happens in endemic diseases? They'll stay with you for a long time. So we'll have to have precautions. Precaution number one, that all the students have to be careful. They have to wear a mask. They have to ensure that they report cases where if somebody falls sick on the campus or is found sick, is reported. They keep washing their hands regularly, and they keep sanitizers at disposal. But at the same time, if you look at it, the other part which you are asking, remember that education is not just about teaching someone a concept. Education is also telling them that yes, this is a very, very difficult time, and please learn to adapt with the time. This is a new normal, as we've been saying for last 6 months. Learn to adjust to the new normal. We'll have a learning management system where there'll be staggered classes. Some students will come on day 1, the other students will come on day 2, some others will come on day 3. Accordingly, those who will not be physically present will be allowed to attend classes online. We'll take exams online.
Got it.
We'll ensure, So that is how it's going to work. And of course, education has to continue, because without education...
of course you have to adapt to this new normal, because you have to continue education, because of course, as you were rightly pointing out, that you cannot disrupt the academic year completely. Already we've lost a good 5 to 6 months. You have to quickly adapt to the new changes that we're bringing in. Let me also bring in some students also now. Dhairya Kapoor also now joining us. Dhairya, good evening. Good to have you on the show. Now talk to me about what are your concerns with this new academic year, because when you enter college, or when you are already part of the first year of college, you're used to a certain college life of how you want to plan, the 3 years or 4 years that you're going to be in college. Has this kind of set you back? Do you feel a little, upset about the way how academic year 2020 and 21 will really look like? Because, you won't have your regular summer and winter break. You'll have to work extra days as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I hope I am audible.
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is that indeed this year has been disturbed. This year has been disturbed, and I feel that the colleges should open. Colleges should definitely open by taking proper precautions. If proper precautions are taken, then I don't think so there is any need to worry. And as per we can see in India, the cases are being recovered soon. Many cases have been recovered, and the speed of what do you say this spread the speed of spreading of this virus has been reduced. People have kind of adopted to it. So yes, I think so. The colleges are should open, as
Okay.
everyone has certain plans for
Okay,
it.
so you feel that colleges should open now so that at least students can, for whatever months are left, can at least enjoy some college life and can at least have a streamlined sense of education as well. Let me bring in some other students as well. Kusum and Arush also now joining us. Kusum, let me come to you first. Do you agree with Dhairya that colleges should now open? And are you okay and feel safe as long as the colleges stick to the SOP and the guidelines that have been given?
I think it for me particularly. I study in Gurgaon and I am currently living in Jalandhar. So it is a very difficult process for me to convince my parents that now I have to go back. So I guess for that, particularly, it would be difficult for us to make our parents understand that yes, now we have to go back, because the only thing that they say is who will ensure that you won't get COVID. So I think that is the concern that our parents have. But otherwise, I think I completely agree with Dhairya that now it's time that we should reopen schools and colleges.
Okay, so you're only concerned about convincing your parents because, of course, they're understandably, worried about your health. Arush, what about you? Do you also agree with the other students who are joining us that colleges now should open? And, of course, parents will be, worried. But do you think that your education will be a lot better, if you do it, once you get physically back to the colleges, because it is somewhat disrupted when you do it. Right, we'll just go try and connect Arush's connection, but Sakshi is also with us. Sakshi, what about you? Do you think that once students get back to colleges, education actually will be more streamlined because it's more easier, because you're closer to your teachers, it's easy to be mentored as well?
Yeah, I think that whatever Dhairya and Kusum said, it's absolutely correct, because I am a journalism student, and as a journalism student, I don't think behind the screen we learn more, because our most of the syllabus is 70% practical. We can't learn editing behind the screen. We can't learn photography behind the screen. We can just go through the theory part behind the screen. We need to learn as with our teachers and got to know whatever they're teaching us with them, get mentored by them. So I actually think that now they should open college, because I think when they can open all that liquor shop and all that shopping malls and everything, why not college with all the precautions?
Okay, okay. So consensus from students is that colleges should now open with the SOP guidelines and the procedures in place because it will be better for them to get physical education. Professor Alok Pandey, I'll give you the closing comments. Then, the students there feeling that, of course, colleges should now open because it'll be easier for them also to get the education that they've lost over the 5 to 6 months, because there'll be mentorship from the teachers also in close proximity. What is your final message to students who will now be coming in, how they can protect themselves? Should they be a little more cautious, so that they protect not just themselves but the others around them as well?
Well, I think Sakshi is very right. Education is a human thing. If you look at education, it's not about learning a subject. It's about how do you deal with humans. If you learn to deal with humans, part of education is group think, group behavior, going around with people, learning the team building, leadership and other things. Yes, I am agreeing to Sakshi that yes, if everything can be opened, malls can be opened. If malls can be opened, if you have liquor shops opened, why can't colleges and schools be opened? And that's what I'm saying. These are young leaders. These are leaders of tomorrow. And these leaders of tomorrow have to show with an example that yes, they can survive this crisis and they'll take all the precautions. Unless the young would come out of their houses, unless they'll come out and face the challenges, they'll not be able to, create the country of tomorrow. So somewhere down the line, I agree, it's not going to be a major hassle if they take the precaution. Precaution number 1, wear a mask all the time. Precaution number 2, use a good quality sanitizer and wash your hands often during the day. Precaution number 3, report anyone who
Yeah.
is unwell. Stop eating outside for a while and ensure that you take a medicine or stay at home when you are yourself unwell. So I think, taking precautions is very, very
Yeah,
important,
I
but
think these are
colleges
very,
must
very
reopen.
good advice and precautions that have been given by Professor Pandey, that avoid eating out, of course wear your mask, maintain social distancing, have your sanitizer on, and of course most of all enjoy this college life, because this is very, very important. Students have already lost a good 4 to 5 months. It'll be good for you to go back, have that experience of a college life, but of course stay safe. Professor Pandey, as well as all the students who reached out to us, thank you so much.